What up? Get in here.
Welcome go around the panel and then we'll introduce our guests last. First, we got Gary. That's how I got it. Middleton Tech. We got Hannibal is hungry. We got I'm a fan. And then we got Ben DoorDash delivery here with us today. He's my king in the house. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to discuss a few topics here that there's some just weird topics that are going on right now, and one of them relates directly to Van. So I guess, well, before we go there, I actually want to try and get something sorted out for my own head. Van, how many social media channels do you have, or what are the correct names? Because I got driving addict, delivery addict.
Delivery addict, not mine.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Somebody else had said last night, well, that's his too. And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Okay, on YouTube, I'm DoorDash Delivery. On Facebook, same DoorDash Delivery. On Instagram, is DoorDash Delivery 2.
Yep.
On TikTok, is DoorDash Delivery 1.
Okay, so.
And on Snapchat, is Driving Addicts. Yes.
Oh, okay, that's it. Is Snapchat. Okay, so okay, got this. So it is just that one, not all of them. Okay, good. So can we move right into what happened on Tuesday?
Being deactivated by DoorDash?
Yeah, because before I even saw the live stream and I jumped in, it was odd because I was putting some articles together and I was actually reading about this happening to other people. Like, and I, it's always happening, obviously, but there was some other stories about, with having oversaturation in the states where they're doing the prop, just some weird stuff that I was like, wait a minute, are they really just starting to thin the herd a bit or something? But then I know this is a totally different story that you have, but it's can you walk us through it? Is it
absolutely? All right. So about 2 weeks ago, I have some scam calls from some Indian scammers that pretend to be from DoorDash, I believe. They try to hack into my Dasher account. I think that's what they were trying to do. And but one day later, they try to hack into my DoorDash customer account. they're calling to pretend to be from DoorDash. And I believe they're Indian scammers from India. I didn't give out my personal info. I didn't give out my email or my DoorDash name or my phone number or anything. And they also try to reactivate my old Dasher account on a different phone number and a different email. Why would you try to reactivate your account when you're already active on DoorDash, as a DoorDash driver?
So is that what they deactivated you for? Was for fraud or multiple accounts?
Something like that. I don't know how to share screen, but I'll just show you the email. How to.
Interesting. Right. That's what I was trying to figure out what this actually was. I was confused.
That's what it sounded like to me. They tried to activate another one of his accounts, which according to DoorDash, it's fraud because you're trying to have two different accounts. And typically the email will come across something like, "Hey, you've abused the terms of service, blah blah blah, fraud. Please check out the fraud section, blah blah."
Yeah,
blah.
something related to fraud, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, let me pull up.
But if the one account was deactivated, though,
Well, I mean that's like you, Steve. If you go and try and activate another account,
start a Google number and then bring in your
right, right, and I can't read that. Maybe we can put him up by himself so we can read that.
Yeah.
I don't know how to share screen.
I'm gonna make it just them.
Because we all in.
Yeah.
How about I read? How about I
You
read?
read it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
read it to us. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Some of that.
I just did it too.
And then my Dasher name.
Mhm.
We regret to inform you that your Dasher account has been deactivated. After completing our investigation, we found that the account share identifiable information to another account that was previously created on the platform in violation of the independent contractor agreement and the DoorDash deactivation policy. Please review the abusing the platform section with the deactivation policy for further details. You can appeal your deactivation by filing out the request here, blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, DoorDash operations team.
So
Yeah.
that went through to your email associated with the deactivated account.
I think the hacker tried to reactivate the deactivated account. Correct.
But it also in turn deactivated your primary account.
Correct. Yes.
Right, because they're considering that abusing the platform because you're trying to run multiple accounts is what DoorDash is thinking.
I'm following. I'm just
It amazes me how people get this information. Like all these scammers out there, like how do they get the information to begin with? It baffles my brain sometimes.
I actually, sorry. Can I jump in first?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually watch a lot of the scammer payback, scammer YouTube channel.
Yeah, I love that channel.
Some of these calls, they the scammer call center literally in the same group. So sometimes they the legit call center would give information out to the scammers or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how they got the Dasher account information. That's my guess.
There's a really good video came from Mark Wilbur. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Very popular YouTuber, and he kind of breaks down the whole operation. It's multi-million-dollar. These call centers are making multi-million-dollar a year.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
taking as much information. They're targeting people usually 65 and older. People that's not technically savvy, and they're just wiping people's accounts and their bank accounts. And it seems like they always seem to know a good amount of information about the person they're targeting. So like I received like insurance calls, they knew what make and model my car is. So like it gives you some legitimacy of okay, this person may be what they're saying because they're telling me something that they would know about me. So it's very sophisticated. And it's crazy. It happens in India, it's multiple, and the government can't shut they'll shut one call center down, but there's still many out there that know it. And
Absolutely.
It's infuriating.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm, you know, the whole model of everything right now is kind of shaken.
What's up, guys?
In fact, I was talking to Joe Darker one today
I'll show y'all
about,
later. Well, I'm just
sustainability
now
of these
watching
businesses
this
right now. And I'm not talking
because
about long term, of course. But
I have a
just like,
screenshot where I
you know, what
did
what
not
can
get
be done.
on the phone with
Literally, you know, I mean,
DoorDash
one thing I
until
want
4
to talk
hours
about
and
tonight was
17
the
minutes.
contract. Can it? Is my new question. It used to be a fight. Now I'm kind of starting to be like, can it hold it well for a while? But I mean, if Massachusetts or New Jersey, you know, or Washington State or anything like that, if any of them give again, like California, we're gonna be back in this whole place. None of this is gonna matter anyway, because you won't be deactivated. You'll be fired because you'll have a W-2 job.
Right.
You know, and I know we've talked about it forever, and you know, some people
What's
just
up,
don't want
Lisa?
to hear it. They're like, well, let's just figure out the money portion right now. We'll deal with
Yeah,
that
12.
later.
Give
That
or take a
later
minute.
isn't, you know, potentially that far off. I said it before with the PRO Act. You know, like I had a lot of ladies who know a lot about that stuff on the podcasts for weeks, and that thing is a lot closer than everybody knows. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like, you know, it's like scientists knowing about an asteroid that could destroy Earth, but it's just going to miss it barely, so they just don't tell.
Oh, so you didn't get no notification?
I feel like, you know, that. I feel like people who did know about the
Now, I knew DoorDash was going to answer just before I went live, and they did. I wanted to be live while I was still on hold, but they answered right before I went live. Kind of crazy. Well, see, that's why I was saying just now watch this with Van because DoorDash crashed today. Imagine that. Not once, but twice. And when it decided to crash, I was trying to deliver an order and it wouldn't even let me do it. It took me like 20 minutes to finish a delivery. So it crashed. So I gave it a little while. About an hour went by, it came back up. Well, the first order I had, which 2,800 deliveries, whatever, I've never had this problem. But I had an order to go pick up. Yeah, you lucky. I had an order to go pick up. Yeah, see, 2,803 deliveries. 2,800 deliveries. I've never had this problem. But I go pick up an order. I told them who I was picking up for. They go over and get it. And she asked me what name is again, just to verify. And I told her. And she said, "So you got Nathan S?" I was like, "Yes." This guy standing beside me said, "I'm Nathan S." I just looked at him. I was like, he said, "You're Tommy?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm thinking to myself, why in the hell ain't you at home? I'm supposed to be taking this to you. Yeah. And he was like, "Well, I've been waiting over an hour for my food." I was like, "Well, I just got it like 7 minutes ago and drove down here." He's like, "Yeah, I saw when you got it." He said, "And when I was driving down here, I saw that you were at the store." Okay, so if you see that I've got it and you see I'm at the store, why are you still driving down here to get it? So anyway, So since I was able to put my hands on the pizza, I click confirm that I had it, and then he took it out of my hands. Well, I started calling DoorDash right then, and obviously I could not continue to work as long as I had that on. So I told him, I said, look, the only way I'm able to get this off my phone until they answer is I've got to drive to your house and mark it as delivered. He's like, that's fine. I'm like, but then they're going to charge you for it anyway, and they're going to pay me, just so you know. He's like, that's fine. I found out later why. He didn't really care or whatever, because I told him, I said, you realize if you call and cancel it or tell them you're going to pick it up, they're probably going to charge you all the fees and everything anyway, because you ordered it through DoorDash. And I was already here, ready to pick it up. He's like, that's fine. So I literally drove to his house. I marked it as confirmed. While I had DoorDash on the phone, on hold, waiting. And so I got that off my screen and I went and picked up two Papa John's orders. While I was dropping off the second order, it started glitching again and went down again. And it started doing all the crazy stuff. So I gave up. I cut the app off. I said, I'm done. I wanted them to still be on the fly when I showed y'all this, but I got screenshots. $4 and 16 minutes before they picked up the phone. 4 hours and 16 minutes I was on hold waiting on somebody to come on. Let that sink in for a minute. I was waiting 4 hours and 16 minutes for DoorDash to come on the line. Once I got a hold of them, I was only on the phone for about 6 minutes. It was 4 hours and 22 minutes. She was ready to hang up. I got the after call survey. I just want to make sure I didn't get a contract violation because I didn't want to say I did fraudulent activity if he, because I saw on his phone that he was in chat wanting to switch his delivery for him to pick it up. And I didn't want him to tell them that he picked it up and then me say I delivered it and then they give me a contract violation or they deactivate me for fraudulent activity. And at that time, after like an hour and a half, it just become humorous. And I told my wife, I went to Taco Mac, drank me a pitcher of beer. I told my wife's like, hang up on him. I'm like, no, we're like 3 hours in now. I'm like, I'll just go live tonight anyway. I told her, I said, I bet you just before I go live, they're going to answer. And they did. But I really thought it would be humorous for me to be on the phone like 4 hours and 45 minutes on hold. And y'all see that. But you see, 4 hours and 16 minutes before they ever got to me. Like, and that would have been a case that I would have said if they tried to give me a violation or something. I'd be like, yeah. When it went down, I cut on Instacart and I could not get no orders. I thought Instacart was down too. But I went in Taco Mac and I told them, I said, DoorDash is down, right? I said, that's why you've got like 20 to go orders in there that nobody's getting. When they closed the night, we are getting ready to leave. There's like 3 to go orders still sitting over there. I said, you know what those are? I said, those are DoorDash orders that nobody tipped on. They come in at $2.50, $3. Nobody's taking them. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I got tired of it. I mean, I did not have no issue, and then out of nowhere, I want to say about 7:30, 8 o'clock, my time, it's probably the same time you are, it just started glitching. And I literally sat there stressing it for some reason and kept closing the app, reopening the app, close the app, reopen the app. I restarted my phone. Finally, I uninstalled DoorDash. I reinstalled DoorDash. I said, okay, it's down. I was ready to just call it a night. And I was literally fixing to come home. And somehow an order that Johnny's Pizza mysteriously jumped up on my screen. I said, okay, it's working. I guess I'll work now that it's working again. I took him other orders. And like I said, the whole time from before I left Johnny's Pizza, the whole time I was on hold with DoorDash. I went and made them other 2 deliveries. I sat at the bar at Taco Mac on hold. And when they decided to pick up, 4 hours and 16 minutes and 49 seconds. That was at 12:53. You see that? Just before I came live, they decided to answer. 12:53. Yeah, so it was about 8:30 when I was on the phone with them. Yeah, about 8:30 when I first called them. Which means about 8:15, 8:20, it came back up. So it must have went down about 7:30 my time. It was down for about an hour. And then it went back down about 9:20. It went back down, started doing all that stupid shit it was doing. I was like, I ain't doing this shit tonight. I logged out, come home. Well, tried to log out. That's another thing. While I was having all these problems, I could not even complete my delivery. I was trying to end my dash. Once I finally got the delivery done, it kept saying unexpected error or whatever it says, when you try to do shit. I couldn't even end my dash. I keep clicking end dash, end dash, end dash, end dash. It's like unexpected error, or whatever it says down there. You know what I'm saying? When it screws up, all it kept saying. Well, Lisa, I want to make sure that I wasn't going to wake up in the morning and not be able to work, number one. But I knew I was going live tonight, and I just wanted to see. And I was still working. So after it got to an hour, I was like, wow, really? Because at that time, I'd already completed the delivery and I was still working, so I didn't really need them. But I just wanted to see how long it would take for them to answer. And when 2 hours went by, then I was sitting at the bar, and it's been 3 hours. I'm sitting at Taco Mac, it's been 3 hours. I was like, wow. Here I come home, it's 3 hours and 45 minutes or something. I literally had the phone sitting here and I was getting ready to go live while I was on hold, and they answered the damn phone. I didn't go live yet because I was still talking to them. I wanted to go live while they were on the phone, but or still waiting to go get that same thing. Yeah, I just thought it was funny. 4 hours and 16 minutes to get DoorDash to answer the phone. As soon as they I told Wife, I said, if they answer the phone before I go live, I'm gonna screenshot that shit so everybody can see it. And here's the thing: most people aren't gonna wait that long to talk to it. 99%. So if you have this issue and you cannot contact them, and you just mark it delivered, so you can keep working, and they come around and give you a violation or deactivate you, but yeah, it was their fault. So again, I got that on my side because I got a screenshot of waiting over 4 hours for somebody to answer me. If I wake up in the morning, anything crazy, she's like, "Don't worry about it. You never said it wasn't delivered." Like, okay, like, I just didn't want no problem with, like, I didn't want him to say that he picked it up. No, not yet. And that was the whole thing, was I was trying to stop the violation thing because I didn't want him to stay, which if I stayed on there that long, I know he wasn't gonna stay on there 2, 3 hours. He got his food, he went home, he probably just didn't worry about it because when he told me to go and deliver it, or go to this house and mark it as delivered, I figured out why. He must have got some kind of deal or whatever, but it was 8.25 was what came in as. $6.25 was base pay. I don't know why. He only put a $2 tip on there, and he said he'd been waiting over an hour. Dude, if you only put a $2 tip and you only been waiting an hour, and the base pay was 6.25, you should be happy. And see, I don't know if they upped the base pay because they crashed for it. DoorDash crashed for an hour. So I don't know if they upped the base pay just when the orders started coming back out to us. That they just wanted the orders done, so they upped the base pay to $6, $7, so everybody start taking orders. I don't know. His tip was $2, and base pay was 6.25. That's why I talked to her, because she was like, "Well, he didn't. He never said that it wasn't delivered." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, I just don't want to wake up in the morning, have a violation, or be deactivated for fraudulent activity." And number one, I did what I thought I should have done, so I could keep working. And number two, I had y'all on the phone for over 4 hours to explain to y'all why I did what I did, and you see why. Yeah, I'm trying to watch it right now. That I literally this started, like, you see the time, 12:53 my time. So literally all this started just before Rideshare Rodeo's thing started. So I couldn't watch it on my phone. So now I'm having to try to watch it now. I was wanting to come home and watch it before I got on. but I couldn't do that. Because as you see, I was on for over 4 hours. Well, I got a 98% completion rate. Never seen that.
A lot about that stuff on the podcasts for weeks, and that thing was a lot closer than everybody knows. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like,
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it right now.
later, but that late.
Connected. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I made a video. There's body emoji in here. We got some markers in the back that ain't saying nothing. Show your face, lurkers. There's body. There's some of them lurking back here. There's one more. Boy, shit's getting deep in here tonight. Let's get some more ass, Body or Lisa. Watch it. Restart the TV.
Yeah. We're gonna be back in this whole place. None of this is gonna matter anyway, because there won't be you won't be deactivated. You'll be fired because you'll have a W-2 job. Right. You know, and I know we've talked about it forever, and some people just don't want to hear it. They're like, oh, let's just figure out the money portion right now. We'll deal with that
Yeah,
later.
man, make sure your hair's right. It's good when you got the microphone.
I said it before with the
make sure mine's good.
With the PRO Act. Like I had a lot of ladies who know a lot about that stuff on the podcasts for weeks, and that thing was a lot closer than everybody knows. I mean, it's just amazing. It's like it's like scientists knowing about an asteroid that can destroy Earth, but it's just going to miss it barely, so they just don't tell it. Some people do. I feel like I feel like the people who did know about the PRO Act, for the most part, were like, oh, that's the national act to have like an AB5, right? And that's knowledge of it. And then, so it was like very few people knew how close this was to just passing. It's I mean, this kind of stuff has to be stayed on top of these, like how easily you can be deactivated, for nothing, or whatever their reason is, and they don't have to share it. I'm surprised that, and maybe this is just a DoorDash thing, that they're allowing it in the appeal process. Usually that's not in their verbiage to say, like, we don't like this decision, we'll relook at it.
Well, any deactivation email always has an appeal link in it. Right. All of them, every one of them. No matter what you did, it could be you could go out and kill a customer and they're going to deactivate you. And they're going to be like, but if you don't think that our actions were correct, you can appeal.
I feel like some of the ones from Uber lately, I'm trying to think, because I get people who send me that kind of stuff, and I feel like some of the ones I've seen.
The one that got accused of smoking, Mary Jane accused while driving or before he or she picked up a passenger.
Yeah, I heard of this story. Uber rideshare, right?
Yeah.
My rideshare professor was talking about the smell. The customer said the car smelled like pot, and they deactivated the person. Right. And that was a back and forth as well.
And the worst part about it is, even if you were honest, what if you were honest? What if it was the passenger before? We've all had that happen.
Absolutely. Stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these days there's such stuff that lingers that you'd have to take like over an hour off, go roll your windows down, open your car doors, spray it out,
hose it out. All these stuff too, like listen.
Right, but it's like prime time. Like you don't want to go pack it up, and you just kind of want to be like, okay, well, hopefully
let us know how it goes, Molly.
Okay, with the fact that and maybe I mean, me personally, all my years, I would have been doing something like that. I would have said, sorry about this, guys. If you're not comfortable, I'm happy to cancel the ride. But the guy before you just reeked.
I have a story to share about being wrongfully accused. You guys want to hear it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so in 2015, I picked up this couple. They accused me of being under the influence, and like 2 hours later, I got deactivated by Lyft.
2 hours?
2 hours later after that, right? It was with Lyft, I believe. And on the same day, right after I read the email, I went in and dropped a UA, piss test, just to prove that I was sober. And the test came back negative, and Lyft did not accept that as evidence of being sober.
That's crazy, because I've heard a story where someone, I forgot, it was a couple of months ago, I don't think it was Uber, where someone got up radically.
Right.
And they didn't deactivate in 2 hours on the person. I forgot, I told them about the story, I wish I knew about it. But as soon as someone said that you were, like they say, okay, this person is, it got you in 2 hours. It's no consistency. Right. It's the way they handle these issues. You can't tell what's going to happen in one piece after another.
But that was like one of the I've done enough rideshare for years. Like that was one of the 12-hour type deactivations or 24 till it's reviewed. Right? Or was that like a full?
I think it was
Because,
within 2 hours after I dropped off that.
right, but how long were you like deactivated, or were you deactivated for until it was
Deactivated.
reviewed?
Deactivated.
Because I had a similar issue with, I can't remember if it was Uber or Lyft, to be honest, but it was like 2017, where I got a call for a service dog call, which I don't mind. I'm a dog lover. Actually,
Right.
I'm cool with that. I'm the guy that will kind of help out a little extra and stuff. But I got to the place, and when I got there, the destination was a vet, and these two dogs, like these two, like just awful, disgusting looking dogs, were just fighting in this yard. And the guy had his shirt off and had a beer, and his girlfriend or wife or whatever, they were like at full blown screaming level in the front yard. The guy's got no shirt on, he's drinking, and these two dogs are fighting. There's some foam flipping up, and I'm like, I literally was like, you guys, I'm not. I said this was supposed to be a service dog call, and they're like, well, you're just taking us to the vet. And I was like, and so I was like, so I even got him to say it. And it was on my dash cam. I didn't turn the camera like I sometimes would, but I at least got him on the audio. I was like, so it's not a service dog. They're like, no, but it's the only way to input. I was like, later. And I took off and I hit cancel. And then I called right away because those of us that have done rideshare, Dan and Gary, you'll understand, like sometimes in a situation like that, you better get ahead of it. Because
if not, you're gonna be deactivated.
yeah, I mean, like something's gonna happen, man.
They're gonna come back and say, "Oh, he refused my service dog."
Right. So I called immediately and I said, "Hey, I said this, and this was it must have been Lyft because this was at a time where I had a person on in 2 minutes.
We got 4 people working, huh?
With support, real support. And I was like, what's going on?
I'll get them to say something. There we go. Change the title real quick. Again, for the new people that's in here, DoorDash went down today. And I screenshot it to show proof. I was on hold on DoorDash for over 4 hours, 16 minutes. They answered at 12:53 tonight. 12:53. 4 hours and 16 minutes. If y'all ain't getting there's DoorDash's support number too. I just put that up there. 4 hours, 16 minutes. That shit's stupid.
And that was a service dog call. I said they were just going to the vet. They were fighting in their front yard, drinking, and I had to cancel the ride. And I actually pushed for which I never would call for a cancel fee, but since I had her, I was like pushing that too. I was like, so I want my cancel fee of $25. I was like, I want that. And I kind of wanted that just because A, I had her on the phone, but also B, it just kind of makes a mark like this was sealed, done, we refunded it. So I was happy. I saw that come through. And like that all happened in about 20 minutes, all that transpired. But then about an hour later, I was on and my app went off and said you've been deactivated. And I was like, what? And so pull over, check my email, already had an email saying my review was under 72-hour review.
So it's not a suspension.
Yeah, but it said they don't say suspension. It said you have been deactivated.
That's probably on purpose, right? Let it cover their tracks.
Yeah, verbiage in case it's a final. Yeah.
To be honest, I can't remember exactly how the email read, but obviously, like I could have flipped on another. I could have just if it was Lyft, I could have just flipped on Uber and stayed out. But I was pretty upset because it was the very first time that I had had a deactivation issue. Because I only had one other one, and it was very short-lived too.
It can be very upsetting, especially when
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I was kind of just like, I've been doing it for 3 years, and like, I can't, what the heck, man? So I came home to reread the email. I emailed them, I called them, and I said, "What's up? You guys even gave me a refund because I called it in because I knew, these people might be a problem." And she said, "Well, they told us a different story, and it has to be reviewed, but as of now, you're deactivated." And I remember saying that. Well, so when does it get reviewed? When am I back on the platform? She goes, "Right now, you're not." So I guess I was deactivated. I don't know how they consider that, but it must have been like some you're in purgatory deactivation.
Yeah. You turn them off. It's like a switch in you.
Right. And they were like, "You're already deactivated. Somebody's gonna look at it. You're probably gonna stay deactivated, just whatever." But I talked to the person and was trying to get any conversation I could in. And they said, "Well, somebody will review it and I'm gonna leave them my notes." Hopefully she did. But regardless, I had another call about 48 hours later. And they did end up bringing me back on, but they recorded my whole statement. Which I would have figured they did the first time too, but it was a manager or some other level that was like, "Hey, tell me again what happened here." And so I fully threw them to the dirt too. I was like, "These dirt bags were drinking."
It just
It
amazes me.
was like 3:30 on Friday,
Yeah,
and
it
they're
just
full on
amazes.
drunk, like fighting in the front yard in
Wow.
this weird, like, and Denver, some parts are just
Let's
great.
get out.
No, it just amazes me that these companies I understand customers come first, and I come from an industry like that, but it just amazes me that like their first reaction is deactivation. Like they don't even understand the situation before they just like, "Nope, deactivation." Like you would think that they would investigate then deactivation. Nope, it's just strict deactivation. That's the part that actually amazes me.
Well, it's a security thing though, because I mean, like, if they say, "Oh, this driver is driving drunk," do you really want to wait till they investigate that before they stop somebody from picking up a passenger? Or
It shouldn't be I would think it should be a suspension period though, because they don't
Right.
know the story yet. It should not be
That's
deactivated.
what they do. They deactivate
the same as
you.
fire.
Well, they temporarily deactivate you, which is a suspension, until they come up with the final resolution. It's just a matter of wording for legal purposes.
It just seems like that wording could really throw people off the wrong way though. A lot of people who would see that and go, "Oh, I'm done, whatever," like maybe move along or I don't know. Everything should be a suspension. It's you're not, you're innocent until proven guilty.
You prove yourself innocent.
Situation that, like what they're gonna do with Steve, it sounds like you have to wait a while for them to get all the stories and then try to figure it out. You got the other one. But, well, then in your situation, have you filed your appeal yet?
I have, and actually, I got an email today from DoorDash support, and it says I am deactivated for good.
How can they able to investigate that in terms of like you described? There are obviously some nefarious people trying to mess with your old account. And
Right.
I'm assuming with
So he's
these
deactivated for
these
good.
guys, they probably got
And didn't do shit.
firewalls. I don't know. Guarantee. But they track certain information, the way they grabbed it, how they even hacked into your account. So basically, a scammer got him deactivated, and that's like that's the way it is. It seems like DoorDash has the capability or the interest to dive deeper to figure out exactly what happened and just assume like how long you been on the platform, man, of DoorDash?
With this current
This current.
DoorDash account, I believe for like roughly 10 months.
Okay, so I'm sorry to cut you off, Hannibal. I have a question. Why do you have two accounts?
My old Dash account I never taken an order, so I got deactivated.
Okay, for not using yours. What's
Right. That never went on a dash. Never taken a dash.
Okay, so in DoorDash is, well, In DoorDash's eyes, though, instead of creating a new account, you should have activated that account again anyways, because you can't have two accounts, period. Once you're approved for one account, you can only have that one account all the time. Even if, like my current account, if I tell them to delete my account, if I say, hey, I'm not going to be a Dasher anymore, delete my account, and then, a year from now, I decide to Dash, I can't sign up and create a new account with my same social security number and phone number because they'll consider that's fraud. What I have to do is I have to email them and say, hey, I had you guys deactivate my account. I want to drive again. I need you to activate my account. Because if not, I'm going to run into the same issues that Van's running into is, well, now he's permanently off. The only thing he can do is basically force them into arbitration and make them give them a better reasoning besides fraud. Because fraud is such a broad term. That's why they don't tell you down to the T exactly what you did. They just say, hey, look at this section of our TOS. It has 10 things in it, and one of those 10 things you violated. When they should really just come out and say, hey, this is what you did. But their lawyers won't allow it.
Steve, I want to just ask you a quick question because you were talking about that earlier. Do you think those type of things are happening now to knock off as much dash as possible from the saturation? Like, do you think that's
I don't think the situation was, but if we worry about that is starting to at least come into their brains a bit. We have oversaturations workforce.
But they're not even talking about the email that he got
states
yet
we might want to
about they were watching his video.
Yeah, I mean,
when he got the call from Japan,
where you're getting all, like California, getting all these medical perks and stuff, and the union's taken away. That and all the, like you're getting stipends, you're getting Prop 22, this junk money. It's nothing. You got to take advantage of it while you can. Yeah, but it's not gonna be there.
So Van, are you planning on forcing them into arbitration or anything to try and get your DoorDash account back?
Like, you mean get a lawyer? Or?
Well, it's not a lawyer, because you probably didn't opt out of arbitration, so you can't sue DoorDash. But it's
I put him in touch with Brian Greening.
Legal rideshare.
Okay.
Yeah. I would definitely go that route. Try and force them into reactivating your account. If it's something that, especially if they did to me, I'm a full-time driver. If they did to me, I definitely need my account. So that's something I would look into. They pay for all the arbitration costs. It's nothing out of your pocket. So,
right, and with legal rideshare, Brian's really good. And what his main thing is just like his letterhead usually can scare them back to a reactivation. Like where they're like, he's like, listen, my client, and they don't even read it. They're like, what's his name? Just reactivate him. Just because they see that there's a lawyer involved.
Oh, okay, it's two different accounts, same person. Let's just reactivate.
But see, that brings up a whole other question too. I don't know, Kim, have you ever heard, I think that's all of us, but Kim, have you ever heard of people doing a second account, where they get deactivated and they get a Google number and then they set up a whole new account? Like, first of all, how does it get past them that he has two accounts?
Hi, it's a very good question. I think about this because I've heard other people on other channels talk about having two separate accounts, but I always think, don't you have to have your social security number attached to the account? So I don't know how the logistics work on that, just because I don't know, maybe I'm just not savvy enough to.
Well, when you create an account, you use a phone number and email. You don't actually use your social.
But won't you? But don't you go through a background check and you have to use your social security number?
You're a third party though. You give the third party your social security number, not DoorDash.
But you do put in things like address field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Gary, you and I, and probably everybody here understands the database world. Why can't it connect and say, no, you're already...
Well, it can't block you by address because what if there's multiple people in the same house that Dash? You can't do it by that. The only thing you can do, the only unique identifier that we have is our social security numbers. So, on Uber, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody having two Uber accounts Because the moment you try and put in your social, it says it's in use.
The German dad, the German
dad
dad
has
yeah,
two.
He has two.
He has a Uber driving account and he has an Uber Eats account.
Well, but that's
We're both
at one
most
point
people
though they
are
were at one point though those two were two separate things. Because like you could sign up for Uber Eats if you didn't have a order.
Look, guys, we're all in here.
He's a hacker, man.
Yeah, at one point, if you didn't have a four-door vehicle, you would sign up for Uber Eats. But then once you got a four-door, you would have to actually sign up for Uber Rideshare. You know, and it's the same thing. Whenever I go back between Oklahoma and Florida, whenever I have them switch my markets, I have to specifically tell them, hey, switch my rideshare and my Uber Eats.
This is a good point by Mac here. This is my buddy Mac. This is a good point.
Again, they still use third parties.
Well, what about when they send out the 1099Ks and then
That's through Stripe. That's not through DoorDash.
They have no database on linking us together, so anybody can
I
create
would
this
assume they
three or four
would.
account.
I would assume they would, but again, it comes down to maybe they don't want to store our social security numbers directly with them.
Liability.
Yeah,
I would
liability.
love to actually.
Well,
Yeah.
like for instance, Uber, you don't get paid from Uber. Uber does not store your social security number. Razor LLC stores your social security number because of liability.
Right.
So maybe that's why DoorDash does it this way as well. They use Stripe and third-party background checker and things like that, so they're not liable for identity theft if it happens to you.
Mike, everything that we just talked about leads me to wonder why there already isn't regulation in every state with a company acting like this, a publicly traded company.
I personally think that and Gary, you might be able to answer this better than me, but I feel like there is like algorithms to these deactivations and also some of these contract violations. You do X, you automatically get a violation. You do Y, you automatically get deactivated. Like, I feel like there is impersonal stuff happening, that it's more an algorithm deactivating people than, in Van's case, it got flagged because there's 2 accounts automatic deactivation. Like, I feel like there's a lot of algorithm things happening that it's an automatic thing opposed to really figuring out what actually happened.
Oh, that's how most of these gig companies operate. It's not one person sitting there reviewing it. It's an automatic thing. You get reported, whatever, it's an automatic thing. And then once you appeal, a human goes and looks at it. Or that's how it's supposed to be. With them denying Van his appeal, that doesn't make sense to me. They could clearly see that the other account was probably never used, never taken any single dash. It's never done anything, not been logged into. They could be like, oh, okay, it's a mistake. He created a new one because he didn't realize that he had this old one. Or any logical person could do that.
Right.
But we don't know where DoorDash's deactivation team is. I mean, if they're the same people that's in the call center when you call to get help, we're all screwed.
So again though, going back to it, what's to stop him from starting a third account?
That's the talk about starting another account that didn't make any sense, or starting another account that I just feel like there's no consistency. Because I remember seeing a content creator that got deactivated from DoorDash, I think for the referral link thing. Or something
Right.
like
Yeah, because you're not supposed to share it. You're not supposed to share your referral link except for friends and family.
Yeah. So she had her biggest, she had like one of her biggest videos, like 100,000 views or something like that. She tried to get back on DoorDash. Couldn't at all. She had tried, I think she tried a different way. There was no way they were allowing that person to go back. So it's interesting that people that have multiple accounts, but like other people can't. Maybe she didn't have the right.
The simplest way is go get your EIN number from the federal government, file with that.
I just feel like there should be like no way for anybody who has an existing account to get another account. Like, I feel like there should be, I don't know, something out there that I don't know. It just I don't know. DoorDash. I feel like they just operate wacky to begin with. So it's kind of like another layer of them acting even more wacky. I don't
Gary was right. He doesn't. They're not an employer, so they don't really want to have this. They don't want your information. Like, hey, I look over here.
And if that's the case, then you could have 10 DoorDash accounts.
I mean, you can't
Yeah, but I could just get a Google number. I could go get a new phone. There's so many options.
Now, here's another thing Van could do. I see somebody else walking in through his house there. They could sign up for DoorDash. Then they could tell DoorDash, hey, I'm subleasing my account to Van. He's going to be one doing the deliveries. And according to the terms of service, as long as they give 7 days notice, Van can use their account.
Really?
Yep. In the terms of service, it says you are allowed to sublease your account as long as you give DoorDash 7 days notice and you have done the background check that is required through DoorDash.
I bet you there's a disclaimer that you can't do it to deactivate.
It doesn't say that. It does not say that. I've read that to you. I've done this a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Really.
I don't know.
I'm not right.
To me,
I
now,
want to use my wife's account if I can't get back with DoorDash.
yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter that way either. But I guess my thing is like, it seems like the fault here is at Checker, in my opinion. And Gary, again, like you've got the tech savvy here, because here's what I'm thinking. Checker, like in the 2015-16 era, when it was just rideshare, 2 companies running you, yeah, maybe okay that they'd notice or pick up, who knows? But now you're running a Checker check for every app there is, and they're all using them. So your information's going through Checker maybe 30 times a month, let's say, or whatever. 20 in a month, and then 5 the next. Why aren't they saying, okay, that's a Checker check for DoorDash, and putting a marker on there until they need the next one in his name, in case another DoorDash checker comes through, so that they know, hey, we already did that one.
Well, because
But my guess is they want the money, but
they want money.
but they could put a stop to that, right?
But a checker could, but at the same time, they're a third party. They don't care. Like you can sign up for Checker yourself and pull backgrounds on all of us. As long as we give you our information, Checker will allow you to pull a background. Now, they don't care if you pull Van's background 10 times, because you just paid them $25 each time to pull it. And the only thing that they're giving you is whether or not he passes the background criteria or not.
I know. I would just think that that's a sign of even potential identity theft, fraud, right there. I mean, like if they're seeing that Van's been checked on for DoorDash 10 times in a month, that's weird.
But sometimes they do pull, like Uber has pulled mine 3 times in 1 month. And I was like, why are they pulling mine so much? And what it was is the first time, like I requested from Checker all 3 backgrounds that they pulled on me. And the first time that they pulled using an old driver's license. So it came back as suspended. Well, then, of course, once that happens, my app says, hey, your driver's license is not valid. We need you to update your driver's license before you can drive, blah, blah, blah. So then I submitted my new driver's license and my new address. And they pulled all 3 backgrounds, and Checker gave them the information for the states that they wanted to pull. So like my driver's license from Florida, but currently I'm in Oklahoma. So when they pull Florida and Oklahoma at the same time to make sure I have no violations in either state.
I just can't believe we're talking about eVTOLs, like electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles that are going to be like the Jetsons and autonomous cars, but they don't have a way to
And we can't
see if
figure
their
out
computers are working
this
correctly.
guy has an account already.
And this is a tech company.
Really a lot of tech. Oh, I have a theory. Now, this is a tinfoil hat theory, man, but I'm going to say it.
I want to hear it.
Okay.
Y'all want to talk? Y'all want to watch this?
We'll have DoorDash delivery and your name on a lot of majority platforms, right? And you already know how TikTok feels when funny, hilarious stuff. talking about people not tipping, no trip, I'm not getting your food, go, take the bus bozo, get the microwave. Do you think that DoorDash, somebody was watching it, I was like, I make this look bad.
It's possible. It's
And
possible.
maybe they're giving you this kind of crap, and I think by going through arbitration and really pushing it, they're going to put you back on. Do you think, like, is that a possibility?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know,
I got Tony's shoes based on one of my YouTube thumbnail.
I have that. Well, I don't know. TikTok is a big deal, and I'm getting a lot of really disgusting messages. I've seen some of you posted, like really aggressive.
Oh
So
yeah,
I'm wondering if someone is like giving you a hard time that does that.
it's possible. Yeah, or it could be with promoting Power app. That's another possibility.
Oh, why? But why would the Power app have to do with two accounts?
Well, not the accounts. I'm just saying, like, okay, they see this and they're like, okay, what else? What could we do to get him off? Okay, he had an account. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just again, really tinfoil hat stuff. We have no.
No, I was just asking. I was asking Dan because I was wondering, what could have done, what could have tricked that. Just, I'm only asking because still to this day we don't know anybody's going to be activated. But
Right. Well, maybe I've been backmouting the non-tippers, or maybe
But I remember you did do something for the para team recently.
right. I promoted the Power app about a month ago.
See, maybe okay, so maybe that's what I'm remembering from your Tuesday live stream. Didn't you say something about? Maybe I'm totally wrong, but didn't you say something about a video? Like something about your YouTube channel, a video. Something was like relayed, maybe in the email in your deactivation or something.
Oh, the DoorDash scam video.
Now they're getting to it.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was or what. I just thought you related it to one of your YouTube videos too, because I thought it was interesting that they were looking at that, watching his channel. We joke about it, but
DoorDash watch. Actually, all these gig companies watch every channel. I mean, if you don't think they do, crazily, I know YouTubers in the past that got deactivated for live stream rides.
yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
know, and the only way you can know that is to watch the stream. But for the second thing, like, the only person that can ever know who's doing that would be the employee of that company, because who's going to know who drops somebody off at 11101? I mean, come on. Even if we see that on a curb around the house, we'd like, we have no clue where this is.
Right.
You know? Yeah, that's why anytime you live stream anything, even like people post screenshots, always tell them, make sure there's no customer information anywhere in there.
Right.
Because that is a huge privacy concern for any gig company. Is if they know their customer information is being leaked, they're going to be very on top of that, because they don't want customers thinking that their platform can't be trusted.
So we got 4 people in here.
Yeah,
We don't
that's
want to talk
possible.
about.
Kim's been a
Y'all
huge
just wanna watch
advocate
this?
in the way that I always was too. Like I have my other gigs too, like laser and other things. But like if you're just in the gig world, look, I mean, Kim's always like have all the apps booted up, have them already at your disposal. Like even the ones you're not using. I used to think way back, like onboard to one at a time and try and get a promo out of it or whatever. But I think there's more, since a lot of times they're not even worth it these days. It's more just onboard to everything.
Sign up to everything.
I'm telling you, sign up. I was talking to Gary, I think, before anybody else went in, and DoorDash for me completely glitched and shut down tonight. So, multi-app.
See?
Like, don't skip a beat, and I hate to say, don't trust one company. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, because
Absolutely.
stuff like this happens every single day to every single driver. And yet, to me, you never know when it's going to happen. So I always say, be prepared for the worst. And you have all these apps to fall back on. I might not use every single one of them, but I know I have them in my arsenal in case I need them. Like, I have never done an Instacart. That doesn't mean that I don't have Instacart. I do. It's the last resort for me, but I know I at least have it in my arsenal and it's ready to go. So I say don't
90%
trust
of
that.
my apps are
You never
something
know.
I just jump on and
I've
do
never
all
done
day,
Spark.
every day.
Guess what? If I need to
Because
upgrade it, I'll go figure it out.
Oh, you need to do Spark.
for no reason.
Yeah.
Spark it got back.
So, okay, I'm glad you said this, Mac, because this is
All I
something
got
we're
right now
still
is
trying to
DoorDash
get
and
that
Instacart
back
with that.
together, that curry one. But
I mean, I
I'm
don't.
glad that you're still having good luck with it. I turned Mac on to you guys, and we pushed him right through on the waiting list. He's in Portland, Oregon. He does well on curry too.
Yes.
I mean, you seen the curry offer I sent you the other day.
I'm gonna go Instagram shopping. Maybe not. Nancy, you don't. I know you did, but you don't do rideshare anymore.
Uber background check issue.
And no Lyft.
Lyft, I didn't get approved when I was in Dayton, Ohio.
Uh,
I have a small crime from 2004.
Never done a rideshare.
Yeah.
So,
But I think with this current situation, I think if you push a little bit more, it probably puts you back on DoorDash regardless of
Yeah, I
all this stuff. Especially if it's just a double account situation, I don't think it's. I think you're right. They want you to shut the people down and not really complain so much about it. They move on to other drivers.
But see, I never
Like,
saw a
push
place
back and
where I
say,
could
no,
do
this
any
is
kind of
not right.
arbitration
Like I said,
or
they probably
anything on
don't
Uber
want to
Eats.
bother,
And
they'll
I
get short.
called
It's a reactivate.
numerous times and never got in touch with nobody.
Uber or I'm trying to figure this out.
How come Uber or Grubhub never goes down like DoorDash?
They do. I've had Uber go down on me a lot of times through the years, especially for rideshare. I've had issues. It usually gets fixed pretty quick, but I'm in a big enough city. It should never happen.
Well, now, as of today, Uber actually has their own database centers, to where DoorDash is still using AWS and things like that. You know, Uber actually built their own center, so they do everything in house. So that's why they don't have as many issues.
What's that, bozo?
It's a hard turtle. Yeah, so okay, we talked a little bit about the independent contractor models again. I think one of the bigger questions that I've seen is like an issue right now is where these companies are. I mean, we've seen them decline, and Gary and I have talked endlessly about the fact we never think Uber will go under. It's too big to fail, kind of thing. It just is. It's worldwide. It's even if it does more horrible than 5.9 billion in the lost quarter, but even if it continues that, it's built inroads with like cities and counties and states and countries, and it takes you to voting or vaccinations or testing or this or that for free. So it has so many ends but I'm kind of feeling like, and I was thinking we were talking that maybe Lyft will merge with something here, right? I'm feeling like, not just from the dip on Wednesday, but that Lyft might be nearing their end. Honestly.
Is there any like publications or any kind of articles that come out?
Just the value of their company, how much they're down in rideshare. I was going through their Q1 report. It's just awful. It's not just the numbers. It's like awful across the board.
Yeah. I'm wondering that because usually what happens is someone is going to sneak link information about the company if they think Grubhub. Like a lot of information is leaking about how everything's all messed up and how they, obviously they thought that $7 million company realized it was a bad idea. I'm wondering if Lyft, it could happen in a few weeks where they're going to, someone's going to link something that's going to be on one of these newspapers, Business Insider or whatever. Oh, they're doing something wrong or they're looking to break off or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised at this point. And all the tech stocks are dropping. My portfolio is but so that Ponzi scheme, I'm wasting my money on that. So, wait, did you have Luna? I have Luna. I have Ethereum and Bitcoin because they're both getting destroyed. It's like, why did I put my money in this? All the tech companies are getting destroyed.
So everything's down across the board right now between stocks and crypto.
But here is a noticeable difference. Okay, both both these SaaS companies or middlemen or whatever we want to call them, specifically Lyft and Uber, have sold off all their junk industries. And they've gotten rid of the trash. They're not trying to fly cars into the ocean and kill sharks or whatever they do with scuba, and got rid of that. Scuba was a real thing, and that's gone. Come on, I mean, they're just done with the junk. They've raised the prices upward of 200 to 300% on passengers. There's been no driver pay increase. Lyft IPO. So wait, Uber IPO just under 50, right?
We have 48.
So 48 they IPO'd on the Dow too. So they've IPO'd and they're at about half their value. Now Lyft IPO'd on the NASDAQ, which is more volatile for companies like this, and it IPO'd at like $78.
72 for Lyft,
Okay.
45 for Uber.
And now what's Lyft at today?
Lyft is at 19 and Uber's at 23.
So approximately maybe 25% of their value.
DoorDash is down to 69.
I just, for Lyft, when I look at the lines and graphs, I just don't see anything in any of the charts that shows me, well, at least they're doing this or this is happening, and they don't have an Uber Eats. They don't have
I personally think out of all of them, I think Grubhub is not going to make. Out of all of the apps that are out there, I think Grubhub is not going to make it. But just real quick, because it just actually came to me, and I actually have a question for Van. So, okay, if you actually go back onto DoorDash, do you want to go back to DoorDash after all this?
Absolutely. Not the first time I've been deactivated, so.
It won't be the last. It's not the first.
Been deactivated from Lyft, from Uber, from DoorDash for the second time. And, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, that kind of speaks volumes too. I'm glad you said that. That like you've been deactivated a handful of times, and you've always been able to come back.
Yeah, I use a different phone number and email to re-sign up.
That's what I was saying. Is like that you could just do that forever, man. with the way we were just talking about Checker, you could.
Right.
But I guess my concern. So that was just speaking of Lyft, but now just in the general, and I know everything. I know cryptos. I saw Hannibal your picture of crypto going through the table.
Yeah,
The guy's looking at it going down underneath the table.
I'm still holding because I mean, what am I supposed to do? I'm down.
So I get that, but this all happening seems somewhat like a perfect storm. Or is it just me? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it seems like a perfect storm where it's like everything's down. There's not a real good sign about when it's going to come back up. It's not performing. They're not performing strong at all. None of them. I mean, none of them. Some can say they're better than others, but none of them are doing well. Some are just like beyond failing. They're almost borderline a joke. And I mean, where does this keep going? They've now raised the prices. They tried 250%. They said that was the issue. They didn't raise the driver rate, but they raised 250% for your
Definitely did not raise the driver rate. That's
right.
Another day.
Yeah. Those are just crazy because people do that, like me as a veteran driver. If I see that, I do that, and then I don't do 251 rides. I do 250 and I'm done. Because I know I'm not making the guarantee. I'm just doing it to do in fact, what I do, I would probably get the Maximo app, set it for 1 mile and go down.
Shorts.
Yeah. I'll go a mile to pick it up.
See, I was thinking about this other day. There's nobody to buy Lyft except for Uber. And if Lyft goes under, Uber doesn't need to buy Lyft.
I don't know that Uber needs Lyft anyway because all that they have is a database.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like the database
need
of
it.
Lyft,
They
I
don't
would
need
think
it.
like 90% of them are already on Uber's.
Right. And DoorDash already said that they don't want to be in people delivery. the interview a couple weeks back, he said, delivering people's not our thing, and so there's nobody to buy Lyft.
Well,
Sorry, I'm laughing at the German dad, Tony. He said Grubhub will buy them.
with what?
Well, yeah, I mean, like
Food stamps.
Grubhub has no money. And the thing is Lyft is valued at what, 24 billion is what their company is valued at.
Comes up with these numbers.
Because these are based on a database. It's not brick and mortar. They don't own the cars. This isn't. It's crazy. I don't know anything. That's why I was glad to see that get around story. I don't know if you saw that, Gary, but that was a bit. I was like actually a little impressed. I was a little hopeful that like that in 2019, Get Around had 350 cities. They acquired Drivey in the UK for $300 million, and now. And so basically that was in December 2019, right before the pandemic. And now they're in 800 US and European cities.
Get around.
I'm not saying that they're the solution to all these problems, but they sure seem to be the only closest thing to being another factor.
Well, competition is always a good thing. The bigger you go, the more money you lose. Like I always pictured a future to where every city is going to be like the taxis. They're all going to have their own app, and that's what people are going to use. Because eventually these big companies, they're going to be like, well, we can't afford this anymore. I mean, sure, you can do it for 10, 15, 20 years, but eventually every company goes under unless there's a government bailout.
Somebody asked me the other day, they were like, I can't remember who it was, somebody on Twitter. I think it was even like, I'm not kidding, it was like Dina Duval. Somebody who I just occasionally have conversation with, and she's like, can you name me one good female, one not corrupt female CEO? And I was like, of course I can, Mr. Johnson. I'm like, I couldn't think of any CEOs that are corrupt. I was like, oh, I don't know. But I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know if like Van and I live in the same market, and here in Denver, I don't know, Van, if your take is exactly the same as mine. This is a good city to live in for gig work.
Yeah,
a lot of cities are.
I love that. I love Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm saying like it's any of the apps. Maybe not a couple, but some people in a lot of markets are like, well, this app works, this doesn't. These are too oversat. Like I feel like here you really can work a lot of them and stay busy. We have a good demographic. We have a good 25 to 35-year-old demographic here in Denver, and I think that really helps. And it's hard to get parking spaces if you live downtown now, and all that's kind of gone away. And I think people that have built a lot of them kind of ditched in the car a bit, and definitely want their food. I mean, one thing about Denver people is they've given up on going shopping. Some cities aren't quite that bad. Here it is. It's like, everybody's like, well, somebody can bring it to me. Why would I go get this stuff? Yeah, I don't know. When I hear about people doing a $50 dinner, and they're broke, but you're getting, it's like going back to the luxury. All of these are luxuries conversation.
Yeah.
And of course they are, because if you get a meal for you and your two kids for $50 through Uber Eats, and that's the only $50 you have, why didn't you go to the store?
Well, it's fiscal responsibility that business don't have. Like things will shift.
It's pretty common caveman.
I buy things that sometimes I probably shouldn't.
With your last $50?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's $50. I'm buying a bunch of ramen noodles. Bunch of ramen noodles.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like you got to go really look out, and that's got to be like to get you through to you figure it out. But you don't order Uber Eats and you'll figure it out tomorrow.
Some people do, Steve.
That I know. Actually, that is the.
They go, they get their pay on Friday, and they go out to the club, and they go out to get drinks, and they're like, let future handle worry about this. I'm going out. then featured animal has to deal with it because it went to the club and spent all his money. So it's like people make these decisions all the time.
And they spend $200 on that new outfit to go to the club. So there goes their whole paycheck.
Yeah, they come Monday, they're cuddling with people.
Listen, when I'm able to buy that Bentley for my cuddling money, Gary, you're gonna be like, I'll be laughing.
You can point fingers at every single one of us, Hannibal.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Don't worry, I'll be here. I'll have fun.
Actually, if you have a Bentley, you won't be here.
So let's try this question. Bam, we'll start with Bam, and let's all do this. What's your favorite app right now? Not all time, not if you had to go work an app, and you can only work one this week. Because I know we all change with
Uber Eats.
Is that because you're deactivated from DoorDash?
No,
You would choose it. Okay.
60% of my food delivery income comes from Uber Eats.
Okay.
How we doing? Yeah, mine currently is Amazon. So Amazon Flex. Yeah, I mean, it could be because I'm updating Flex Alert and I'm doing more Amazon, but
Is it because that's good too now where you are in Oklahoma?
well, yeah, I couldn't do it in Florida because the closest place was 70 miles away. Oklahoma, it's 10 miles away. So I've always preferred Amazon, Whole Foods, simple, quick, easy money.
And Hannibal is, I'm sure, Rover. But if
we are talking about food delivery, shopping, DoorDash is still the most popular app in my area. Where I know if I had one app to use for dinner, shit, I know I would get majority of good orders, at least decent orders from DoorDash.
It's gonna pain me to say this, but it's gonna be DoorDash. As much as I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that they do, it's really it's booming in my area. I can still, if I shut off every other app besides DoorDash, I can still make my goal for my day. So it just so it happens to be by multi-apping, I just make it quicker. So I'll go with DoorDash.
Well, they send you a lot of orders, but they're not always the best orders.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, we got that 59% of the market in the country.
That's
You're
about right.
gonna get a lot of orders from there.
But Tim, what would just take a guess, and I know you actually can do this because you do this every night. So if you were working 3 hours in the evening, same 3 hours, DoorDash one night, Uber Eats another, same volume type on both nights, how much off would you be on your Uber Eats earnings?
A lot. Uber Eats has almost been non-existent in my area. If it was a weekend day, I might have a full minute prayer, but a weekday, no. It has deteriorated so much in my area that's why DoorDash has just dominated my area. And it used to be the other way around, like last summer, and maybe it's a summer thing because I'm by a beach town. Like I was rocking Uber. It was my favorite app, and it was like my bread and butter multi-apping, and completely flip-flopped with DoorDash. And I don't know what happened, but DoorDash is definitely the top right now. So that if I did one day with DoorDash and one day with Uber, they wouldn't be able to compare.
I know you don't need to share exact numbers, but like multiple dollars an hour off, over $10 an hour off.
Yeah.
Easy.
Like I would like that. It's not that Uber's not sending good quality orders, which they do. Like sometimes my best stacked orders come from Uber, and that's a lot of times what I use Uber for. But I can go an hour, 2 hours without getting just even one order. And then all of a sudden I'll get like a really good Uber Eats order. So the volume with DoorDash that comes in, like I can probably get 10, 15 orders or offers, I should say, per hour. Granted, I can't do all of them, but at least get the offers to choose from. Uber, I don't even have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching I watched the Driven Dad Say Lift. I mean, watching all these different answers come in, and it's so funny because we all always talk about all of these different markets and how much different they are. And here's the proof right here. Everybody's saying different things, man. Everybody,
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's so true. It really is. It's the first question you need to talk about when you're talking to other people in other states. You need to be like, hey, where do you live? What's the size of the town? What kind of town is it? A college town? Is it retirement? What do you got going?
And what apps do you have available there? Because if you don't have like 2 apps available,
Right. Well, I would imagine any town population 50,000, 60,000 plus would probably have most.
no, because like in Florida, I got Uber Eats, I got Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash. Grubhub is, I mean, it's okay, but for the most part, that's all I got.
Mm-hmm.
And just going back, Steve, I don't think I answered also your question probably the right way now that I'm thinking about it. If you're talking about like dollars per hour, probably DoorDash, I can still generate $25 to $30 an hour. Uber, I'll be lucky if I break like $15 an hour just based off of the orders that come in.
Yeah, that is what I was trying to ask you without
Right.
asking, but you kind of, well, no, I didn't want to ask. I actually
Yeah.
answered it perfect the first time too, because I didn't want to ask you what you made an hour, because, you know.
Now, what about Spark or any of those?
Spark is amazing, and the payouts of Spark are amazing. The thing, at least in my area with Spark is only as good as your Walmart that you have in your area. I only have one Walmart, and my Walmart started the very first week I started on Spark, and I don't think they quite worked out their kinks. And
I gotta find
staffing
out why I
levels
couldn't get
for the
I ain't got
demand of what
on
Spark
Spark yet.
is doing, but the money is absolutely crazy, especially on shop and delivers that actually just opened up in my area last week for my Walmart. And the other day I did what was it, $32, 30 something dollars to do one box of rice. Really? One box of rice, I shop for one box of rice.
So you think eventually that will take over as your main gig?
Yeah, and you know, I've been working differently. If I don't know whether you've noticed it, but I've been working differently. Like, and a lot of this is family based too, because my daughter started school. So drop the daughter off, I do a couple of Sparks, then I go to food delivery for like lunch rush, and then I'll do maybe 1 or 2 more Sparks before the evening shift like really kicks in, and then I go back to food delivery for like the dinner rush. So I feel like I'm working a little different to accommodate Spark, just because the payouts are ridiculous. And, you know, I know we don't talk money amounts, but I'm going to talk money amounts for like a half a second. I'm just going to give yesterday as an example. It was Wednesday. Wednesday is usually one of my slowest days of the week, and I'm usually struggling. I did $260 just yesterday alone on 8 hours. Sorry, no, 7 hours worth of work yesterday.
Nice.
So less hours. And I'm getting home quicker. I can be with my family. I'm getting my daughter to school. So to me, still making more money, but less hours and being home with the family. And to me, that's a win in my book.
Mhm.
How long have you been doing gig work, Kim?
I started part-time three years ago, DoorDash. And then full-time, it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years now.
See, I've always said this, that once full-time people do it, when you first start out, you're like balls to the wall. You work all kinds of crazy hours, but then you eventually, about 2 years in, you find that niche that gets you home in time. So you're like, oh, like a 9 to 5. You're like, boom, I'm out by 8 a.m. I'm back home by 4 p.m. Guess what? I spend the rest of the night with the family.
Yeah, and that's exactly. I hate to say it. It's almost by the book. Exactly. You know, I would work like, okay, I'm a go-getter to begin with. So like, I'm just gonna go out. I'm just gonna work. And now every night, you know, I was working until 10, 11 o'clock at night. Now I'm home by like 8 o'clock almost every night now, and it's family time. It's TV time. TV. I actually know what a TV is at this point. Like I didn't even know what a TV was for like 2 years.
I always say Kim's one of the hardest workers in this, because every day she's out there working, And then every day she's like editing, dropping a video. But then we got Ban too. Look at Ban. Like Ban's like a flex. He's like live streaming on every platform at all times. Like literally, like I'll get on the. I think I've even seen you live streaming on TikTok,
Sometimes
Instagram.
2 different platforms simultaneously.
Oh, you do. Okay. Like if you're doing Instagram, you're doing TikTok too.
Right.
But I mean, you live stream a lot. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to put it
I
on.
do. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. I do. I don't know. It's just kind of like my subscriber keeping me company.
Yeah. No, I mean, yes.
Like-
I mean,
Like dancing with all your friends. Like, except they're not in the car with you.
definitely. Yeah. No, I
That's
mean,
what it feels like.
yeah.
Makes
I
the
love
time.
doing stuff. I prefer these days to be in those streams because sometimes sometimes I'm just like working at home on another gig for the laser company, and I've got like an iPad over here with Flex's channel going because I like his lo-fi beats. And
Right.
so I'm over here working, and then I'll hear him swear or say something in Russian real loud. I'm like, "What's going on here?" Like,
So I do that with Texas channel too. I have it up on one screen, I'm programming on the other.
but I have to not watch it. I have to have it behind me because it really does something. Or I hear another car crash into his or something.
I'm gonna say one more thing on Spark. I'm gonna say one more thing on Spark, just real quick. I could probably do probably a $400 a day on Spark easily, but I'm so programmed not to rely on one app just because of everything we've learned from the food delivery world. Like, and that's the one thing I can like give advice on, and I usually don't give advice on anything, is diversify everything. Don't rely on that one app because you never know when it's not going to work anymore. And
Absolutely.
that's the whole thing about multi-apping. Don't rely on one app because they're not loyal to you. So don't be loyal to the apps.
Okay.
Yeah, go where the money goes. Go where the
Even beyond
Go
that,
with money is a good one
they
there.
could deactivate you, and here's even the weirdest situation. They can deactivate you, and they meant to deactivate him.
Right.
Not that you do anything illegal.
Activity.
I mean, but honestly, like that can happen, and then there's no resolution to it. Just deactivated. It's so weird, it's deactivated as an independent contractor. Just the two don't go together because it's actually a way of saying fired. You're fired.
Right.
That's why
I don't work here, man.
It's a little like we're looking. All right, so when we are dealing with a situation, we're looking for like a manager or HR person to figure this out because W2 is the problem with a customer or another coworker. We'll talk to a human being about it, or you go through a process where you talk to the human beings. But with these apps, the algorithm is trying to manage people,
We're doing
and they're not there yet. They're not, the technology, the algorithm is not perfect to leave one person or not. So they just look at ones and zeros. And then people get caught up with, things like extra account or just look out customers lying. And the algorithm is not smart to figure out who's telling the truth. And they'll just deactivate the person. Like I think you can't replace a human being is what I'm probably trying to say.
We're nowhere close to that. But man, what are your backup apps? You do delivery, but do you have Shift? Do you have Curry? Do you have
Right. Uber Eats, Grubhub, minus DoorDash, Amazon Flex, Spark, Instacart, Brody. There's one more. There's one more. I have 8 apps.
are you active on all, or are you just are you ready? Are you like already onboarded, but you haven't worked, or have you worked all of them?
I worked on all of them.
Okay.
So I think 7 apps minus 8 apps minus DoorDash.
But I know you're probably, but you still do with these other apps, right?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, again, I think that's the new answer. I used to say quite the opposite. Like, man, just find the one that's working for you and stick with it.
Mainly I do a lot of apps because it's for YouTube. I do it for the tube.
Yeah. Well, and that probably, but that's kind of like the fire under your butt to get you motivated. You know, fine, I'll go do some shit, and all of a sudden maybe you're kind of like, wow, I actually didn't know shit. Maybe I'll try it tomorrow too. I think that that's part of the cool things about live streaming. It kind of gets you to commit to an amount of time without being able to go, this sucks to do. I'm going to call it. You know? um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how all of us here tonight. I don't know how all of us find the time. We actually all have stories that I'm learning all of our backgrounds, and we all at least. Ben, I don't know if you have kids, but all the rest of us do.
I have a furry daughter. I have a dog.
Okay.
Molly.
Yeah. Okay. You know, I'm turning 50 in 2 weeks here. So,
Oh wow.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm not really.
I feel like when I live stream, it kind of gets me away from all the other stuff that we do on a daily basis. So I feel like sometimes live streaming is like therapeutic and
It is. Yeah. It could be addicting too. Addicting.
Yeah, it might also help you control. I've never, you know, I can't say because I've never done the vlog. I've never done a drive along or like taken a GoPro other than in the woods on my snowboard or backcountry and stuff like that. I've never taken a GoPro to a grocery store and like and done that. Like I do my thing on YouTube and with the podcast, but I don't know. I would think that maybe might help me kind of a little bit too. Okay, there's some people watching. I'm not gonna go all and Roy, I know you're watching or listening, but I'm not gonna go all old school Roy. Yeah, punch a car.
Don't do that. Yes, don't do that.
You know, I've seen some like crazy live streamers too. Like, you know, like most of like I'll see Kim do her live stream. You know, it'll be just her cell phone. But like while I'm out working, I see these people. They got these big old sticks, these big old cameras. Not just a phone, but like a whole setup.
I should have said.
Yeah, it's like that's a little crazy. Just for food delivery.
it's a little over the top. But
Yeah, it's like $2,000 setup. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think you should try it. One ride along video.
is that what Hamill's gonna challenge you to one ride along video?
Okay, I'll do one Instacart and I will see if I can get deactivated on the launcher.
It'll just take one shot for you, probably.
Yeah, I gotta save that too because I've decided, Hannibal. We talked about this a while back. Van, maybe you'll have a view on this too. But all of us have our moral compass. You know, like it doesn't take me a day to think about things. You know, "Oh, I think I'm okay with that. Like you just know, like would I be okay doing that? Using things like that. But like I was talking about starting a dumpling business, which I'm doing right now, and I said I'm going to go out in a blaze of glory against Instacart and staple my card in every order until the customer calls it in. I mean, we were talking about, you know, is that like is that ethical? And I'm like, I don't know, but my instincts are telling me it's okay.
What is dumpling? It rings a bell, but
Dumpling is true independent contractor platform. You build your own clients, but you can do everything. It doesn't have to just be shopping. You can do delivery. You could do dog walking services like Hannibal does. You could do a lot of dumpling customers. They actually build these businesses. A lot do very, very well. I've met quite a lot of them. And they get the codes to people's houses, or people will say, "Hey, can you put the food in the after they get to know, can you put the food in the fridge because I don't get home until 6." And they give them a key to the house. They're like, "Hey, when you're here, could you let the dog out? Hey, we're going to go out of town this weekend. Would you watch the dog?" You're allowed to take on any services you want and use the dumpling card and be on the platform.
Yeah, it's a personal assistant, basically.
okay.
I mean, you got to build it. You got to build it. But like everybody I know that did grocery were old Instacart shoppers that had it. And they've all done extremely well if they put in the time because they just, you know, they were letting people know. And basically, like, I'll use Matt again as an example. Matt up in Chicago is like one of the top 5 dumpling shoppers. He started off by letting 2 of his family members know he was starting his own Instacart, as far as they knew. And you're allowed to make your own pricing model, how tips work. They have like classes that you can take just through the app, watching them to learn how to try and price this stuff out. But his telling 2 of his family members has him to the point where he can't take on new clients now. He has enough where he's just crushed.
Well,
Because one person, because both those people said, "Wow, this is awesome! It's the same guy every time. He's coming in, he's putting the groceries away. I trust him."
That's the biggest word, trust.
Yeah, and
This is
so
the
all of a
same
sudden they're
person.
like, "Wait, I don't have to deal with Instacart anymore."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Great," And so they refer to a friend. It's just, I mean, it's almost like word of mouth. You don't even need your advertising.
what did Celeste? Wasn't that the one that hired somebody else too?
Yeah, I think she's working on her second now. She's like a business now.
Yeah, she's actually got employees.
Yeah, which we were kind of laughing at when she was there because it was like, wait, you've been fighting the independent contractor model. And she's like, I know, but I did this city council thing, and they were telling me how I'm going to be better as an escort. I was like, oh. So, but she's shopping by the seashore, and she's by Kim. She's in Atlantic City. And she's like either their first or their second highest earner. She's a 6-figure earner, and she's got it down to like 40, 50 hours a week with set clients.
Yeah, especially when you are around like apartment complexes or really big buildings and you can walk in and all that they have allow you to put like advertisements around. You can say, hey, listen, I'll shop for you guys. You guys don't have to worry about it. Let me if you live in the building or not, we get near the building. They know you. There's again, trust is the biggest part of this, where you get the same person taking care of you. You're not, gambling with a different discount shopper. Some are good, some are bad. So like you put the hustle to it. It makes sense because people will look at it. I don't think they have a lot of loyalty with the platforms, right? Like if you order food, I have DoorDash, I have Grubhub, I have Uber. There's no loyalty necessarily unless you get a membership. Like when it comes to taking care of certain things like your kid, your dog, shopping and stuff like that, when you get someone you can trust, they'll pay. They have the money. They'll pay and take care of you.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, like I think you could do great on a dumpling type model. And like you were just saying with loyalty, I mean, I actually think that I'm just guessing from what I know from you, but that Rover, maybe you do have a little more loyalty because you get paid better. It's like I am with Curry. It's like I wouldn't go out and blazing glory against them.
Yeah, the algorithm sends me good clients, or the clients look at my profile, so it does make sense. But I still get paid. I still have clients that pay me for them on Cash App. So, I should do the dumpling thing because I walk on. I have keys to owners' houses right in my key, right? Like I can, and so I go to different apartment buildings. If I did the shopping thing, I know I can do it because I'm lazy. The shopping thing. But I can even go to an apartment complex. Hey, listen. You see me every day walking dog, you see me doing this. I'll shop for you. The grocery store down the stairs. I'll do this. I'll put it in the house. I'll put it in the fridge. I'll take all that. Just give me a fee. I know that's definitely something I can do. I put some effort into it.
Or even dog supplies or like last minute food. I mean, you can use the dumpling card for that. So if you had a client that said, hey, we just ran out of food, is there any way you can go pick this up? So you're like, yeah. Because you're doing it through dumplings, so you can. I don't know, Bam, you might want to look into it. It's free.
Okay.
It's free to get it set up.
How much does the company charge? Is it kind of like Uber but with personal assistance?
No, because they're not feeding you customers, they take what is it, Gary? 10%.
What's their commission?
It's really small.
No, it's very small. And you pay for credit card transactions, but they don't set the prices for you. That's the thing. Like you set your own prices for each individual customer. So, if you go walk somebody's dog, you tell them one price, you go shopping, you tell them another price. I believe what Celeste does is like, I think 10 or 20% of the total is what she does on shopping.
I think it's like $5 or 5% per shop, and then it's the credit card transaction too, which is like $3. Huh?
What are you talking was $5?
No, like 5% of the order total is what dumpling gets plus the
Oh, are you
transaction.
talking the thing? I can look it up real quick though.
I mean, if not, I think it's like at most it's like 10. It's not much. And besides, yeah, you're setting the prices, but you can't set the prices on the items. So that is where that just plays in.
Okay, they get 3.9%. This is for the basic version, not pro. This is the $0 a month pricing. They take 3.9% of the credit card transaction plus 30 cents, and then they charge 5% fee for the platform access.
Right. So under 10%.
With a limit of $50.
So under 10%. But the whole deal here is you have to build your clientele. That's the biggest thing. But again, man, I mean, like if you're somebody who can do Instacart, I mean, maybe not an Instacart, maybe, but you don't mind the shopping so much.
That's
I think
fine,
there's
right?
a real.
Something?
Yeah, but you want to get there's one called Dumpling Boss too. I think that's the one where you can shop from.
Yeah,
For shop.
I'm gonna put a link in the chat so you can.
Yeah, that's the one. Dumpling Grocery Boss. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you sign up for that, and you can go and you can do any services you want. Like that's part of the test. I've had the CEO on the podcast a couple times, and so we went through it, and I was like, so I can do anything. We were trying to figure all this out, and I think Ken, you might have been on when we discussed this. He was just like the one thing's enough. Everything else was fine.
What was the one thing again?
Just through Texas because it's raining.
I don't remember if it was. I know it was sexual, but I think it was like you just can't be turning tricks. You know, like, there goes my plan. You know.
Completely off topic, but just because I was reading the chat a little bit, is everybody's complaining today that DoorDash has been like down a lot today. It completely crashed on me in the middle of a dash earlier, and I'm like, oh no, not another violation. But man, DoorDash.
For those that don't know, every Thursday is maintenance for DoorDash.
Yeah, multi-app. That's the only thing I keep saying.
Yeah, that's why we used to call it Friday crashes.
Yeah.
Because Thursday they did their maintenance and they used to always crash on Fridays.
So, but let's look at Mr. Flex too. Like, you know, I talk to Flex a lot. He is somebody who doesn't work other apps. He only works DoorDash, and they've been hit lately too. Like
He does payroll too, though.
I know. Yeah, no, I'm saying as far as the gig apps, he doesn't have a backup. He doesn't do Uber Eats or anything. He's just got DoorDash.
No, DoorDash goes down, he goes home. So needs ice cream.
If they even need to go.
Perfect world, man.
Yeah, that's all he's working. What's up, Flex? I don't know what the Mike and Nike said.
He said Mike too. We was all talking about the big mics. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, like he only does DoorDash. I know that it's been very slow for him lately. It's not just down today. It's been, I know, like this week, and I want to say last week too, of talking to him. It's been very slow. I don't know. I mean, whenever I turn on the apps I use, I don't really see ever a difference. When people are saying some things are slow or whatever, it might just be again where Van and I are in Colorado because it is a good market for this. You know, I would think that Hannibal's market, like you were saying with DoorDash, like yeah, I would imagine that such an overpopulated area like where you live in such a small space, I guess it would be lit all the time.
It did. I realized that if things are going slow, but not necessarily for orders, it's just I think just people outside where like Cinco de Mayo, I think like 9 o'clock at night, I couldn't log in because I don't schedule. I never schedule for DoorDash, and I couldn't dash down. I was very interested in something that never happened with me before. I don't think it's a lack of orders. It's just so many people are there working. You don't need me unless I go to the hood to go up the dash down. I'm not gonna do that because I'm not gonna make it.
I thought you lived in there. That's what you told me.
Exactly. So I can in my house. I don't want to cook the McDonald's orders all day, and I don't want to do that. So it's not. I can't get in. So that's my answer. I can't get in.
That was I mean, to be honest, like, you go where the money is, and again, you're in such a small area. It doesn't take long to move to another one. It's like 15, 20 minutes to go somewhere where it's actually worth doing it.
Sometimes those drives are really worth it. You might realize tomorrow's Friday the 13th.
I just saw that in their chat. I'm like, oh, really?
Absolutely.
I'll be outside.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty much all I got. I mean, we've already ran over anyway by a good half
I
hour.
didn't realize tomorrow's Friday. It's Friday.
So I guess
right
that,
now.
Dan, did you get in touch with the attorney that I sent you?
Oh, I haven't called him yet.
You really should, man. Because I'm telling you, it's not. He's not going to charge you anything for a free consultation. But if he'll just draft you the letterhead, that is it, man. It's like I should just get him to give me a bunch of letterhead, and I'll just change names. So I'll sign him. I'll be like, you need to put him back on. Sign it. Oh no, it's from a lawyer.
Did you send it through on Instagram? Or?
No, I texted you when you were doing the live stream. Yeah, I think I did send it through Instagram too.
I don't have
I
this
know,
number
I know
on the
it's right.
text.
Yeah, I texted you too.
Oh, through a group text, right?
Yeah, because I included him. That's Brian Greening. He's the CEO and founder and lead attorney. And
Okay.
he's a good friend of mine too. So it's we've got some history. So he's a good guy, and he's not going to charge anything. So talk to him. He can get you, if anything, he can help you get reactivated quicker, even if you're going to get reactivated anyways. But yeah, man. Thank you for coming on, man. I've been checking out your lives lately and noticing how often you are live. I guess I didn't really notice how often you are live before, or else you've been doing it a lot more. I don't know. At least on YouTube.
Right.
I've been seeing you a lot more, like even during the day, because you and I are in the same time zone. I'm used to all these people being out east or whatever. So they're like 2 hours in front of us, and I'm like, oh, it's that time. Like even in the day and stuff, I've seen you doing live streams. So all the band's information's in there. All of ours is in there. I'm sure. If it's not, it will be as soon as.
And I posted the link to it just now as well.
Well, I mean, in the show notes is everything. Is everything. But yeah, everybody, thank you for joining us. I didn't make it through the chat tonight. I'm sure Gary was keeping up. Maybe. It looks like there was a handful of people. It looks like there was sober, and yeah, I mean, obviously some of these people are banned when you're for ban. Which is a little. I always love some crossover. I love crossover when people get exposed to another channel, or like.
Okay, so I'm gonna gain some of your subscribers to Rideshare Rodeo, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, like.
It's always good to collab, but I'm not good with interviewing people, so I haven't done a collab where I'm the interviewer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I learned everything I know from him. At least you were one of the primary people on YouTube. I was already doing the podcast for a year and a half on audio, but yeah, I mean, when I started watching, yeah, I liked your style more than the collaboration you were doing at the time. The other collab, like when you had me on yours the first time, I noticed a big difference between the two. You see what I'm saying, right? Yeah, I mean, that was some code, but I think a lot of people probably got this. I don't know. I mean, it just, you just kind of showed me a different way of approaching it. And because it had video, that's an eye opener when you do an audio podcast, you move video. And all of a sudden you're like, more depth. Yeah. So, anyway, guys, thank you, Dan, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out some way to hook up our dogs. And you live in Commerce City, I live in Quebec on the Park Hill side.
Near Stapleton.
Yeah, it's called Central Park.
New app on there, rough.
I live near Hamden and Barrow.
Okay. Oh, I know exactly where you are. I thought you were up in Commerce City.
No, South Denver.
Okay, I know where you are. Yeah. Littleton, right?
It's in the it's in like the triangle of Littleton, Beaumont, and Denver.
Yeah, I know exactly where you are.
Well,
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, we'll find a way to get our dogs together, man. I go right past you, in fact, to one of my
Your dog?
favorite trails.
is your dog big?
It's a Border Collie Australian Shepherd mix. He's 50 pounds.
Okay. Well, we'll check it out. Holly has some dog on dog aggression. So,
Yeah. My dog can like he kind of can dig that sometimes. He can jump. He's a herder. He's meant to herd animals. So it's like he'll jump over and stuff. I
okay.
don't know. Take him on a hike, you just tire him out. Even the crazy dogs sometimes they just chill because they're just hiking. So
Yeah, we'll work it out. I have to
yeah.
look.
So thank you everybody for joining us, and have a good week. And hey, if you haven't checked out the radio show yet, I keep forgetting to plug it. Please join us tomorrow night on TNC Radio live at 7 to 9 Eastern. You can do the math on the rest because it's 5 to 7 here for me in Colorado. But it's a live call-in show. You can go to tncradio.live. We can bring you on. We can bring up to like 8 people on. It's a trucker radio station, but it's the only gig economy show. It's called Driver Nation. And me, Tom Kelly, and Jason Geary had a good time on that one. So
Is that one on a podcast or whatever?
no, that's like it's like live trucker radio out of Houston.
Okay.
So, but a lot of truckers part-time in the gig economy. Like
So it's
interstate truckers who are gone for weeks on end.
Is it like on the radio?
Yeah, it's on the
radio?
radio and on internet radio, and yeah, they've got shows going around. It's all country and news and trucker radio, except for this one show a week. We're the only show that's not trucker based.
Got it.
It's pretty fun. It's the station manager sits in with me. Kim's been on it, Hannibal's been on it, Gary's been on it. Actually, everybody here's been on it. They should come on it sometime. We have commercials during in between. Some weird stuff happens. We have a good time. It's always fun. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, then if you come check it out and check out Van's channel and check out Kim's channel and check out Hannibal's channel. You're on my channel, so
It's like the only channel one is yours.
all right, guys, have a good night, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys.
Good night.
Where was that?
All right, it's 7:0.
All right, so what are we doing? I gotta go pee. So did I bore y'all enough tonight? Watching that. I want to see what Van was doing. Oh, shut up, buddy. I'm not gonna ask you nothing no more. You still sleep all night anyway. I would watch it if I wasn't on hold with DoorDash for 4 hours and 15 minutes or 16 minutes or whatever it was. I could have watched it in live time. Let's show a screenshot one more time. 4 hours and 16 minutes and 49 seconds before DoorDash ever answered the phone. Crazy. I keep looking at DoorDash to see if I'm back deactivated or not. I guess we lost Lisa. I said I had 4 people in there at one time, but nobody said anything. So that's why I said, do y'all want to talk or do y'all want to watch this? Nobody said anything, so I just kept watching it. Breathing treatment. Oh, I guess Lisa must have got busy. It's her Friday, so I didn't even see her trying to come into the stream. Just kind of hanging out back here with Body. Wake up, Body. What's up, guys? Come on. I want to go watch that new Top Gun movie. They did a remake or something from the one from like 30 years and made a new one. I think it's called Top Gun Maverick or something. I don't know where Lisa went. She must be busy. I just texted Lisa. Let's see if she comes on. Nobody wants to talk, I guess. Why are you sleeping, man? DoorDash. Shit. There you go. Nobody's talking. Nobody's responding. I'm tired. Until I get kind of an early start tomorrow. I get grass and all that. So if I don't see y'all this weekend, y'all have a good weekend. Remember, it's Friday 13th right now. Y'all have a good night. Hope y'all make lots of money. Talk to y'all later.